Cup of English podcast for Paul and Lily.
I want to tell you something about weekends. In Britain, the weekend is sacred. Capital S, sacred. You do not disturb a British person's weekend. You do not call them about work. You do not send emails. The weekend is protected by an unwritten national law.
Welcome, everyone, to a Cup of English podcast. I'm Lily.
And I'm Paul. And I asked Lily what she did last weekend, and she talked for 11 minutes without stopping. I counted.
I did a lot last weekend. Today we are talking about how to describe your weekend in English, what you did, how it was, what you loved, what went wrong. Simple, natural, everyday English. Perfect for beginners. Let's go!
Right. The most common question in English on a Monday morning. How was your weekend? 4 words. You will hear this every single Monday for the rest of your life. And you need a good answer.
The most basic answers first. It was great. Very positive, very simple. How was your weekend? It was great, thanks. Or, it was okay. Not amazing, not terrible. Just fine. A normal weekend. And, it was a bit quiet. You stayed home. You didn't do much. Very common British answer.
A bit quiet is probably my most common answer. And I mean it as a positive thing. A quiet weekend in Britain means tea, books, no obligations. Perfect.
Which sounds lovely. But in California, a quiet weekend means something went wrong, and you are too polite to say what.
Cultural difference right there.
Complete opposite meanings. Okay, more answers. I had a really good weekend. Slightly stronger than, it was great. I had a really good weekend. I went to the beach. I had a lazy weekend. You stayed home, you relaxed, you did very little, and you are not sorry about it. I had a completely lazy weekend, and it was exactly what I needed. And I had a hectic weekend, very busy, lots of things happening, no rest. Hectic, very busy, and a little bit chaotic. My weekend was absolutely hectic.
I have a hectic weekend story. A few months ago, I had what I can only describe as the most administratively busy weekend of my adult life. It started on Saturday morning. I had arranged to meet a friend for breakfast at 9.
Nice start.
Nice start. Except I had also forgotten that I had a phone call with my family in Britain at 9. Same time, different continents.
Double booked yourself.
Double booked. And while I was trying to solve this, I got a message from another friend saying, "Are we still on for lunch today?" And I had completely forgotten about that lunch.
3 things at once.
3 things before 10 a.m. on Saturday, and I spent 45 minutes sending apologetic messages to various people, rescheduling, explaining, apologizing, and by the time I had sorted everything out, it was 10:30, and I was exhausted.
From apologizing.
From the administration of a social life, I hadn't even left the flat yet. I sat down with my tea, which was by now cold, and I thought, this is what a hectic weekend feels like, and I don't like it.
Paul discovered social admin burnout.
I have since implemented a rule, maximum 2 plans per weekend. 2, no more.
A rule. He made an official rule about his social life.
It has improved my weekends enormously. 2 plans maximum. Everything else, quiet.
I respect the system. Okay, vocabulary. To make plans. To arrange to do something in advance. I made plans with my friends for Saturday. To cancel plans. To decide not to do something you had arranged. I had to cancel my plans because I was tired. And to reschedule. to change a plan to a different time. We rescheduled our lunch to Sunday instead. Right. How to describe what you actually did at the weekend. The most useful phrases. I went to the beach. I went to a restaurant. I went to the park. Super simple, super useful. I stayed home. You didn't go anywhere. You were at home all weekend. No shame in this. Staying home is wonderful.
Deeply underrated.
And I spent the weekend, followed by an activity. I spent the weekend reading. I spent the weekend with my family. I spent the weekend doing absolutely nothing, and it was wonderful.
I spent the weekend doing absolutely nothing. I want everyone to practice this sentence. It is a beautiful sentence. Say it out loud. Feel how good it sounds.
Paul's favorite sentence in the English language. I have a weekend activity story. Last month, I decided to have what I called a productive weekend. I made a list. Saturday, I would clean the flat, go grocery shopping, do laundry, organize my wardrobe, and go for a run.
That is a lot for one day.
That is a lot for 1 week. But I was feeling very motivated on Friday evening, very ambitious, very capable.
And Saturday morning?
Saturday morning, I woke up, made coffee, sat on my sofa, and opened my phone. And I started watching videos, just for a few minutes, just to wake up properly.
Oh no.
2 hours later, I was still on the sofa. I hadn't moved. My coffee was cold, and I had watched 17 videos about people organizing their wardrobes.
Videos about organizing wardrobes instead of organizing your wardrobe.
I watched 17 people do the thing I was supposed to do, and I felt like I had done it. I had absorbed the energy of 17 organized wardrobes without touching my own.
Vicarious productivity.
I don't know what that means, but yes. And then it was 11 o'clock, and I thought, okay, I'll start now. I got up. I looked at my wardrobe. I opened it. I looked at it for a while. I closed it.
You closed it?
I decided the wardrobe was actually fine, and I went back to the sofa.
What did you actually do that day?
I went grocery shopping at 4 p.m. I bought snacks. I went home. I watched a film. I ordered takeout for dinner. I was in bed by 10. 0 things from my list. 0.
A completely clean slate of productivity.
And the funniest part? On Sunday, I woke up feeling completely refreshed, and I cleaned the whole flat in 2 hours, did all the laundry, and organized my wardrobe.
You needed the unproductive Saturday to fuel the productive Sunday.
The lazy Saturday was the preparation. It was not a failure. It was a strategy.
I absolutely believe you planned it that way.
I absolutely did not, but I am claiming it now. Okay, vocabulary. Productive. Getting a lot of useful things done. I had a very productive Sunday. Lazy. Relaxed. Not doing very much. I had a wonderfully lazy Saturday. And to get things done. To complete tasks and jobs. I finally got things done on Sunday. Really natural expression. I need to get things done this weekend.
Right. Talking about the weekend with friends. Because the weekend conversation is not just about what you did. It is about asking others, being interested, keeping the conversation going. And English has wonderful phrases for this.
First, how to ask someone about their weekend. We know, how was your weekend? But you can also say, what did you get up to this weekend? Very casual, very British. Get up to means, what did you do? What did you get up to on Saturday? I love this phrase.
Very common in Britain. You would say this to a colleague on Monday morning. What did you get up to at the weekend? And they say, not much, you? And you say, not much either. And somehow this is a complete and satisfying conversation.
The entire exchange is 6 words, and everyone is happy.
British small talk is very efficient. You convey warmth without using many words.
In America, the same conversation is much longer. What did you do this weekend? Oh my gosh, so much. On Saturday, I woke up and I went to this amazing farmer's market, and I got these incredible tomatoes. And then I met Sarah for brunch, and we went to this new place, and the Eggs Benedict were honestly life-changing.
Life-changing Eggs Benedict.
Every weekend in America is an adventure with life-changing food experiences.
And in Britain, every weekend is not much, you? Not much. Beautiful.
I love both, honestly. Okay, I have a weekend conversation story. I was in the office on a Monday. This was at my old job. And my boss asked, "How was your weekend, Lily?" Very casual, very normal. And I had had an absolutely terrible weekend. Everything had gone wrong. I won't go into details, but it involved a broken shoe, a canceled train, and a very confused cat.
A confused cat?
Not my cat. I don't have a cat. That is part of why it was confusing. But my boss was asking casually. He didn't want the full story. So I said, "It was good, thanks. How was yours?" Very normal, very professional.
Good answer.
Except my face did not agree with my mouth.
What do you mean?
Apparently, while I said, "It was good," my face was doing something completely different, because my boss looked at me for a moment and said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Absolutely." And he said, "You look like someone who had a very interesting weekend." And I said, "I'm fine." And he said, "Okay," in that British way where "okay" means, "I don't believe you, but I respect your privacy."
The British okay. Volumes of meaning in one word.
My face betrayed me completely. I said one thing, and my face said another. And 3 colleagues later told me separately that I looked a bit peaky on that Monday.
A bit peaky. British expression. It means you look slightly unwell or tired. You look a bit peaky today. Very gentle, very British way of saying you look terrible.
I looked peaky because my weekend had been peaky. My face knew the truth, even when my mouth was lying.
Always trust the face. The face never lies. Okay, phrases for responding to someone's weekend story. When someone tells you about their weekend, you need to react naturally. That sounds fun. When someone describes something enjoyable. We went hiking all day. Oh, that sounds fun. That sounds like a lot. When someone describes a very busy weekend. I had 3 parties and 2 brunches. Wow, that sounds like a lot. And I'm jealous when someone did something you wish you had done. I spent the whole weekend on a boat. Oh, I'm jealous.
These 3 phrases keep any weekend conversation going naturally. They show you are listening and interested without having to think of something complicated to say.
Right. Talking about specific weekend activities. Very useful vocabulary. To go for a walk. To walk somewhere for pleasure, not because you need to get somewhere.
I went for a long walk by the beach on Sunday.
Very relaxing. Very pleasant.
To meet up with friends. To see your friends. to spend time together. I met up with some old friends on Saturday.
Or shorter, I caught up with friends. To catch up, to spend time with someone and share news.
We had lunch and caught up. I hadn't seen her in months.
And to have people over, to invite people to your home.
I had some friends over for dinner on Saturday.
Very warm, very sociable. I had people over last weekend, actually.
Oh yes, tell them.
So, I invited 3 friends for dinner on Saturday evening. I decided to cook. Proper cooking, not just pasta. I was going to make a roast chicken. Very traditional, very impressive.
How did it go?
The chicken went into the oven at 5. My friends were arriving at 7. 2 hours, plenty of time. I set the timer and went to read my book.
The timer.
I set the timer, and then I became very absorbed in my book. Very good book, excellent chapter. And I heard a sound from the kitchen, but I thought, that's the timer, I'll go in a moment.
Paul?
I finished the chapter.
You finished the chapter.
It was a very important chapter, and I went to the kitchen and the chicken was slightly more cooked than intended.
How slightly?
It was the color of a very dark mahogany table.
Mahogany, like the furniture.
Very dark, very crispy, in every direction.
What did you do? Your friends were arriving in 45 minutes.
I stood in the kitchen looking at this very dark chicken for about 2 minutes. Then I called my friend James, who was already on his way, and said very calmly, "Change of plan, we're getting takeout." And he said, "Is everything okay?" And I said, "Everything is wonderful. The chicken had other ideas."
The chicken had other ideas. You blamed the chicken.
The chicken made its own choices in that oven. I cannot be held responsible.
And your friends? Were they disappointed?
They arrived, saw the takeout boxes, looked at the very dark chicken still sitting on the counter, and nobody said a single word about it. They simply sat down and ate the takeout.
The British politeness. Nobody mentioned the mahogany chicken.
James looked at it once, very briefly, and then looked away, and we never discussed it.
The chicken that shall not be named. Okay, vocabulary. To have people over. To invite friends to your home. I had people over for dinner. To order takeout. We know this one. To order food from a restaurant to eat at home. We ended up ordering takeout. And to make the best of it. When something goes wrong, you find a way to enjoy the situation anyway. The chicken was a disaster, but we made the best of it. Really useful expression. Okay, talking about a bad weekend. Because not every weekend is wonderful, and English has great phrases for this too.
Very important, because sometimes Monday morning comes and someone asks, "How was your weekend?" And the honest answer is, not great.
First, I didn't do much. You stayed home, you were tired, nothing happened. Very neutral. I had a rough weekend. It was difficult. Things went wrong. Rough means hard and unpleasant. I had a rough weekend. I wasn't feeling well. And I needed the weekend to recover. You were so tired from the week that you spent the whole weekend just resting.
"I needed the weekend to recover" is a very honest and very relatable phrase. I say this most Mondays.
Most Mondays. Okay, I have a bad weekend story. Last winter, I had a weekend where I was determined to try something new. I had seen videos online of people doing pottery, you know, making things from clay, and it looked so relaxing and creative and peaceful.
It does look very peaceful.
I found a pottery class on Saturday morning, paid for it, showed up, very excited, very ready to be creative and peaceful.
And?
The teacher showed us the basics. How to center the clay on the wheel, how to pull it up, how to shape it. Very clear instructions. Very helpful.
Sounds good so far.
And then I sat at my wheel and I put my clay on and I started. And my clay, from the very first moment, did not want to be pottery.
The clay had opinions?
Strong opinions. Everyone else's clay was going up smoothly, forming beautiful shapes, and mine was spinning wildly, flying off to one side, collapsing in the middle.
Flying off.
It flew off the wheel twice. The teacher came over both times very patiently and helped me start again. And the third time, I was concentrating so hard, tongue out, completely focused. It started to look like something, like an actual bowl shape.
Progress.
I was so excited I pressed a little too hard, and it collapsed completely, flat, gone, in 1 second.
Oh no.
And I sat there, looking at my flat, collapsed clay, and the woman next to me, who had made a beautiful tall vase, looked over and said, "Oh, don't worry, it happens to everyone." And I looked at her perfect vase, and I looked at my flat disaster, and I said, "Does it though?"
Does it though?
Because it clearly did not happen to everyone. Everyone else had pots. I had a clay pancake.
A clay pancake.
I went home with a very flat, very sad piece of clay that the teacher kindly fired in the kiln anyway. It looks like a plate that gave up on life.
A plate that gave up on life. Where is it now?
It is on my kitchen counter. I use it to put my keys on.
A purpose found.
It found its calling. It is the saddest, most beautiful key holder I have ever owned. And every time I see it, I think, I tried something new. I was terrible at it. That is also a good weekend.
That is actually a wonderful attitude.
Thank you. Okay, vocabulary. To try something new. To do an activity you have never done before. I try something new every month. It didn't go as planned. Things went differently from what you expected. The pottery class didn't go as planned. And to give it a go. Very British expression. To try something even if you are not sure about it. I'd never done pottery before, but I decided to give it a go. Love this phrase.
Right. Last phrases. For ending the weekend conversation naturally. After someone tells you about their weekend, you can say, "Sounds like you had a good one." A good one means a good weekend. Very casual. I need another weekend to recover from the weekend. When your weekend was too busy or too eventful, very relatable. Everyone has felt this. And roll on the weekend, a British expression meaning you are looking forward to the weekend. You can't wait for it to come. It's only Tuesday. Roll on the weekend.
Roll on the weekend. Write that down. Perfect for a Monday or Tuesday when you are already thinking about Saturday.
Which is most Mondays and Tuesdays.
Your challenge today. Tell us in the comments about your last weekend. In English. Just 3 sentences. What did you do? How was it? Did your clay collapse? Did your chicken go mahogany? We want to know everything.
And subscribe to A Cup of English podcast. Free. New episodes every day. Every single subscriber makes us genuinely happy.
See you in the next one.
Cheerio, everyone.
Bye, guys.